Namaste, sir. I'm Vedika Bajaj, and I have with me my colleague Vedant Nath. Welcome to the WIM talk shows. We aim that this format of the WIM to be different, done never before, in a fun format to connect with the youth. You being a pioneer for entrepreneurship and having so many interests in what young people relate to is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, sir, as we begin the WIM talk show with Mr. C.R Venkatesh.
Thank you for having me here. It's great to be here. I'm so thrilled.
So, sir, we begin with the first core question. When we got to know that we are going to interview you, we were very thrilled. The whole team was very thrilled, and we came up with the select questions so that we could ask you. The first question here goes: what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
So basically, I think from my grandfather. So basically, he started. He was working till the age of 60 in a company, and he started his first business at after 60, after his retirement, and that actually was a foundation for a 100 crore business which he started. So I think that I draw my inspiration from him. So it's not if it's not just that you need to start as an entrepreneur. You can become an entrepreneur at any point of time. When he can do it, why can't I? So that's how.
That is wonderful, sir. That is really very wonderful. Inspired by your grandfather. So, sir, another question. How does it feel to be a CEO of a company as you come from a small town?
Yeah, so it's a very nice question. Basically, see, most of the IT companies you would say are if you would look at headquartered in either in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Gurgaon. So these are the normal hubs. Is the IT hubs, even Chennai for that matter, in Tamil Nadu. But I wanted to do. I mean, I wanted to be different. So I wanted to actually focus on what's available in my town, in my hometown. So first is I wanted to do something for my home. So that is for my hometown, that is Madurai. And I wanted to actually see how we could utilize the talent pool here in Madurai, because we've got very nice colleges. One of the best colleges in Tamil Nadu are around Madurai. So we actually tapped into that particular that resource segment, and we were able to identify good people. We were able to recruit easily, and we were the most important factor of our entire our success in this 21 years of my journey in the IT business has been only through people. People have been my strength. I would not say, technology, leave all that. I would say people are my strength. They stick with us. So it's like, you talk about retention. I would say that people love to be here and they don't want to leave. We used to actually have another center. We started later in Chennai, but then we found that the people we were able to find that there's a good impact. People are willing to stick to the company. They want the more loyalty we are finding, which was happening in Madurai. So we said, okay, why unnecessarily have another one more office here in Chennai? So we moved everything to Madurai. So I would say that is one of the things. So one is good talent. Second is it's my hometown. I wanted my office, my infrastructure, everything be at Madurai. And third, you would say is like basically it's not just employees and this, but you also have a good industrial uh, scene here. So basically, a lot of industries are here, and there are a lot of IT requirements. Uh, so I'm not talking about my company as my for this particular point, because our company caters to overseas customers. So we don't focus on Madurai or the neighboring areas, but I would say that other IT companies who are setting up shop here in Madurai are looking at targeting those areas. So I mean, that's the answer I could give for that.
So when you started out, was it like you were a local company catering to the people around you, or did you immediately go to the other cities and meet the people from over there?
See, my first business uh, was actually one of the my I started in the year 2000, 1999 actually, and that so at that time we used to charge 2.5 lakhs rupees for a 5-page website. Can you imagine that?
Now,
You can get
we built a website. It was approximately with the hours we spent on the talk about a maximum 10,000, 7,000 something. I mean, that's a cheap
10,000
basic one. Yeah.
is what 5 to 10,000 is what typically you would actually spend if you get it done through freelancers. You
Yes.
could get it done, but at that time there was nobody else who could do it, and we were able to demand up to 2.5 lakhs for a simple 5-page static website with no content updation, no CMS, nothing, no WordPress, nothing like that. It was a total HTML website. So our first order came from the US. Luckily, we got an inquiry. I remember, if I remember correctly, it was it was a hotel in Kodaikanal. For the owner actually had seen my website and he actually posted a small query on my form and said that he needs to get a quote for a 5-page website, and that's when I quoted 2.5 lakhs. And then he said, okay, how much should I pay now? I said 50% you pay upfront. Then he said 1.25 lakhs came in in 2-3 days, and then I completed that website in I think it took me around a week or 10 days, because that was, we were all new to it. And then later we were able to. That's how we got our first customer, and we were. I mean, we were really thrilled at that point of time. We were only 5 people in my company. Myself, we had actually two designers and one developer who knew a little bit of PHP and a little bit of actually it is not PHP also. It was actually Perl. Is one of the other languages which is not normally not so common now. CGI Perl was the language, and there was one more person who used to take care of the computers, maintenance, and all that. So this is just 5 people in the company. So at that time, we didn't look at uh, getting any business from locally, because people are not aware of what is a website and what is. It was very difficult to explain, because you have a brochure in hand, they understand. So they don't. It was very easy to convince a company to develop a brochure for 50,000 rupees than developing a website. So it was that difficult.
Wow. Okay, so let me move on to a fun format of a game that we've thought of. It's not the best game that we have here, but we hope you like it because it's something related to what your field is into currently. It's called Honest Views. Honest Views, like something very trendy in kids. Now, as the first question comes, you get a nice example. So I'll be asking you about 5, 6 things over here. You can answer it in about 1 or 2 sentences,
Okay.
or more. Anything's up to you. Okay. So, honest views on the future of Indian gaming industry.
Views on the future of gaming industry. Yeah, I think virtual reality is going to be big. 3D games. If I think 3D and virtual reality, I think going to be really, that's the thing. So I'm just looking at, I am a game addict. I love mobile games. I play on my phone. You can see my screen time. It would say at least 1 hour a day I spend on mobile games. And my current favorites are Royal Match and
Wow.
Toon Blast, and there is one more game called Art of War.
Wow.
So I think, yeah. So I love games, and actually I really want to get this VR stuff and all. I want to have those glasses. I really want to do it. So I know if you can also guide me on this, it'll be great, because I mean in Madurai we don't have that. We don't have a gaming zone as big as in other cities like other big metros. So any ideas would be welcome.
Sure, I'll give you some at the end of this. Yes, now next, voice technology. And
Voice.
considering Clubhouse and Spotify spaces and all of that.
Yeah. Steve, uh, I think people are now switching to new things like Clubhouse. I started getting addicted to Clubhouse. I was like very active. I was like almost 6 or 7 hours the first week per day I was to spend on Clubhouse. I managed to get around 800 followers in the like in almost I think the first week, and after that I've not been there at all. So it's a very it's very tricky because it takes up so much of your time. And you can just see this is my profile here, and I spent a lot. Can you see my screen actually?
It's a little glowy, but yes, we can a little.
Okay, so that's so I actually did a lot of research in this. I mean, I really spent a lot of time. I think it's Clubhouse is cool, and I think there's a lot of future for all these type of things like Shazam. I don't know
Yes.
how much you use Shazam. Shazam again uses audio technology, Alexa,
Yes.
all these wonderful tools. Home automation, I think right now I think people are not using that so much. But like in if you go to outside India or other countries, it's very common to say, "Hey Alexa, switch on my my TV or call this number or play me this song." It's so common. So for us, it's like it's new. A lot of people have not started utilizing it, or you can say dim my lights. So still automated automation is not there in all these areas. So I think there's a lot of future there.
Okay, next, work from home in coding. Like, will coding be existent working from home, or it's going to be no code and like WordPress mostly?
You're talking about the low code. What is thing?
Low code and no code over coding, and working from home as well for all of this.
Yeah, work from home has actually changed a lot of things basically. Earlier, I used to be worried about running out of space for my office, but today I'm able to actually I can add more than 50 60 people to my team without actually hiring an extra office space. So that has totally changed a lot of things. A lot of places are becoming totally free. The co-working spaces has actually they're also finding it difficult right now. It's totally there's a total change which shift which has happened there. As far as code, I think it's very difficult question to answer, because if you ask me, I would say low code is the best thing, but it depends again on applications. So even in fact, even for my corporate website, we came when we wanted to develop it, we wanted to give it to somebody else because we wanted to find out the best options from other tech companies. So a lot of people actually suggested to use WordPress. So we actually did it in WordPress. There are a lot of limitations, there are a lot of risks, but still it's so easy to use, so easy to update, and and that's one of the reasons we've been able to effectively use it.
Okay. Up next, honest views on networking.
Networking, meeting people on going like on LinkedIn, or what sort of networking again?
Networking for building a community. Suppose you have a new idea, like World Youth Media, new idea for like a startup for kids. We have to build a community for ourselves. So, would you think of networking for new ideas, especially?
Yeah, I mean, I yeah, we have something called in a few small clubs here where we actually I do mentorship for some students who from college. So we have a startup pitch also which we do every year. So we I mean, a lot of new ideas are coming, and if they are actually nurtured, they can actually be successful ventures. Um, in fact, I've got around 10 ideas right now, which can be if one actually, if somebody takes it up, then they could become very successful ventures. Because when I actually sit and brainstorm, I come up with this idea and I speak to my team, and then they come up with different views saying that it's going to work, it's not going to work. And I can share some couple of examples where I told something about ride sharing, and about going from the airport, ride sharing, and take an Uber and split the fare. So this is something which I told actually much before this was implemented. But these ideas are there, but whoever implements it first is the first mover, and they should do it effectively. So that is one thing. And as far as the networking, I do a lot of networking. I actually use LinkedIn. I do that. I travel a lot. I've been to around 60 plus countries. That's around 13.37% of the world actually. Still, I mean, I don't think it's going to be more than that, because I don't think the pandemic is going to be over quickly. I think so. Everywhere I go, I make it a point. I have a good set of people who I'm able to connect with, and able to. It's like a sort of an extended family. So you have people there. Now, if I right now I have around 10 people in Mexico who they will if I want anything to be done in terms of business or in arranging something or helping somebody, it's all possible. So traveling and networking is the best thing, but today it's difficult, it's not possible. But I would say networking is essential. Events were happening in a big way. I used to go to a lot of events. The reason why I traveled was only for events, for business, not for holidays. So I used to meet and in conferences meet people. I used to speak at some conferences. I used to meet people, and that really helped me to actually expand my business.
That's brilliant. It's some advice all youngsters should follow. Going for events, networking with people, and making connections, because that is what is going to be the most valuable. Up next, a fun question to end this segment: aliens. What are your honest views on aliens?
Yeah, actually, I have watched so many aliens and movies about aliens and zombies. I love zombies actually. Aliens not that much, but I am scared of them. That's I would definitely tell that. Even I recently I saw a movie about I think it was a Nicolas Cage movie. There's some colored aliens which were there in the part of the on the in the house. I love all alien movies. I really wish they were not true. I mean, but the zombies I love them. I think, yeah. On another note, I think after COVID, the next is going to be the zombies. So we're going to
Okay.
who's going to produce them? Whether it's going to be China or it's going to be like India. But definitely, mark my words, you're going to be zombies next.
Okay, we have to get up, protect ourselves before that happens. All right. Okay, Vedika, over to you.
Yes, sir. So we have another question for you. How was your mindset different from other students?
Oh, okay. My mindset was very simple. I was actually my grandfather started this business and textile business, and I had a safe place there. So there was no pressure on me to get a job or anything. I was anyway going to my family business, so I was like very settled. I was like I enjoyed. I enjoyed college. I didn't make a struggle to actually do any. I didn't attend any campus interviews where my friends and all were struggling to go and attend different campus interviews. My That was a different experience for me because I had a backup. I had something which I anyway was going to do. But what happened is like once I joined my business again, it was not my cup of tea. So that's when I started my own venture later. So as for your question, yes, it was a different experience.
That's great, sir. I read the preface of your book, The Struggle is Real, and you had written that no one likes to talk about the early life of struggles. Would you like to tell us your struggles?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely, I can tell you about it. There was a lot of uh, struggles because I was like, my parents actually, I mean, in my city, we were my family is quite well off, but they actually the way I was uh, sort of in school and in college, I was not given any luxury. I was not even. Um, we had 3 cars, but I never used to go by car to school. If I was actually, in fact, in college. For going to college, there were flights, but I used to go by train. So, I mean, it is different. So that way, I think it has helped me a lot, because it also brought to me to understand that there are. I mean, it's not everything has to be earned and then enjoyed. So I think that is one experience I learned. Struggles, I would say, I think mainly would be on um, a lot of uh, problems were there in, like, in terms of I mean, what everyone goes through actually in friends and all that. Otherwise, I think in my schooling, I think it was a very, I didn't have much struggles. um, yeah, I think not, I mean, I think these are the ones which I was talking about, but nothing really big actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Vedant?
it's an important point, like avoiding luxuries and actually working for them and earning them. Very important. Now, next we're going to move on to another game segment, which is called the 90 seconds challenge. In these 90 seconds from now, we'll time it to get the timer, and in these 90 seconds, how many other questions you answer, you go on the leaderboard. Now, to the next talk shows that we do, whoever has the highest score, we'll release it at the end of the month, because this month we probably might be speaking to a few more guests. So 90 seconds, one word, one word is sufficient, I think, for the questions that we have. 90 seconds, okay. All right, so just a minute where I get the timer. You can get ready for it. Okay, so until 90, we're going to play this. Now, let's me start. Okay, favorite Tamil movie?
Nayagan.
Favorite game?
Game. Cricket.
Place on favorite game?
Game is cricket.
Okay. Place on your bucket list where you want to go?
Alaska.
Speak every language or speak to animals?
Animals.
Speak every language or speak to animals?
Speak to animals.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I am great.
Favorite drink?
Whiskey.
Retire as a monk or retire with grandchildren?
Grandchildren.
2 awards your company has won.
Many.
Social media platform favorite?
Facebook.
Book which you would recommend to read?
Sorry.
Book which you would recommend to read?
I don't recommend. No, not a good
Okay.
reader.
Work from home or office?
Work from office.
Nice sleep or delicious food?
Nice sleep.
Travel to the past or travel to the future?
Travel to past.
Can you live without internet?
Sorry.
Can you live without the internet?
No.
Okay, your favorite song?
Many.
Okay, now last, the 2 words about the concept of WIM.
W.
WIM, World Youth Media.
I think brilliant, amazing.
Thank you. And yes, we crossed the limit of 90 seconds. We went over to about 100 seconds, but yes, it's great. Some lag in the call, but yes, let's go. You have answered about 10 questions. I think I'll just give you the number at the end of the call. I'll mark everything.
Awesome.
Okay.
Was it a good number?
I think you answered 10 questions or something. I'll give you the number. Yeah, Vedika.
Sir, we hope you enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, but was 10 is a good number, or is it less?
It is a good number,
It's
sir.
good.
It is a good
It is
number.
good.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
So, sir, next question to you. How has tech developed in the past 20 years? And do you think it will develop at the same pace in the coming future?
Definitely. I think there's a lot more to happen because technology, though it has developed in various other Western countries, you would see that in India and a few countries which are, the developing countries, a lot of development is yet to happen in terms of IT. I think there is a lot of scope, and now we're talking about more secure transactions using blockchain and all that. So there's a lot. I mean, even data is being lot of data is being collected, but data is not being analyzed. So I think there again there's a lot of scope. Artificial intelligence. Then you've got robotics. So a lot of places you have this automated robots actually doing the tasks, regular tasks. But you've got robotic restaurants as well. But all that is a lot to come. So I think what you have seen is just a fraction of what is yet to come. I'm looking at things like making a small trip to the moon and coming back because right now due to the pandemic, so at least we are not able to travel to other countries, but maybe moon trip is possible. So I'm looking at all that in the future.
That's a wonderful vision, sir. I mean, technology is developing at that pace too. So, sir, one short question that the whole team got. How did you get the idea of starting .com Infoway?
This is a passion because as I think my initial question, I was talking to you about my first website, the project which I did for 2.5 lakhs. So this actually came up because I wanted to get something done for my textile business, and I spent a fortune. Then I understood when actually when I spent that much, I understood there was not much of work involved in actually doing that. So that's when I thought, okay, maybe it's something which I should be thinking of. And actually, there was one experience where actually I went to the US for a few months, 3 or 4 months in 97, 98 around that time. And I found that a lot of there's a lot of development happening. There were actually at the time was there was this emails which were there was something called emails, but now without email you can't live. But at that point there was a communication channel which started, and it was called emails, and that was not happening here in India at the time. It was not so popular. So because the internet itself was not there, so it is a different thing. So I wanted to actually get into that line where everything is new, and I want to do something which is not uh, into the regular line of business. So basically, not my family business or something I want to do unique, which is not there in India at the time. And I really loved working on the internet. I loved the technology space, so that's why I started that.
Thank you, sir. Another question, very short. What were the barriers that you faced when you started your venture?
What were the
What were the barriers that you faced, the problems that you faced when you started your venture?
So basically, when I started my business, there was a lot of issues on internet connectivity. In fact, in Madurai, there was no internet. So we had to actually connect to Coimbatore or to Chennai for a dial-up connection at that point of time. You wouldn't have heard of it. It makes me feel very old, but I'm just telling you that there were times like this. So now we're talking about Wi-Fi and all that. So now at that time there was nothing called Wi-Fi. You had to connect manually for every time you need to connect to the internet. So you need to dial through a dial-up modem, which will connect to connect center in Coimbatore or in Chennai at that point of time. So it was very tough. So basically, if you wanted to actually do some research, reading about the latest things, how to add something on a website or how to add an image, it was a nightmare. So I think technology-wise, getting updates, information, everything was a huge barrier. That was one thing which we faced as a problem, because even when we need to train our resources or employees, then we need to give them material. So there was no place where we could actually get this. We only depended on the internet. So that was one of the major things. Second was actually about uh, I think about uh, the the technology know-how. So we were not able to get any experienced people at that point of time. So because people, when we take students from colleges or any placement or do anything, they had no idea. They had no clue about what is an email, what is a. They never had an email address also in their resume. So it is a totally different world at that point of time. So getting them to educate them about all this was a time consuming thing. It was a very difficult task for us. So I think that was I would say the most important challenge. One more challenge was actually getting business. Just getting business, ultimately you need to make money in a business. So how do you make business? You need to get customers. So getting customers was a challenge, because people didn't know what a website means, because they can't actually physically see it. It's there on a server, and you type something, only you can see it. So somebody asked me a question. uh, you ask them, when we talk to them about building a website for them, the first question, which is the frequently asked question, can you guess what it is, Vedika?
How
What is a
much or something?
website?
No, not that. It's I mean, that is easy. That is easy. I could answer that. The first question I asked, the question I get from them when I say, when I ask them, like, let's build a website for you, they'll ask me, but sir, do I need to have an internet connection? That was a problem. That was the problem which we faced with everybody. So if I had not been in this area, if I had not learned this, I would have asked the same question. I'm not saying that, it is a problem which was very difficult to address at that point of time, and we so it was a challenge. So these two, I would say, are the major issues.
Fantastic. And for a question that I'd like to ask, if you were a teenager right now during the semi-pandemic situation, what do you think you'd be doing at home?
Home, is it? I'll just call my friends over and we'll have a party.
If that's not an option, like at semi-pandemic situation, like some new skills that kids should learn. Like right now, I'm at home. We work at I do school, and for the company or the organization that we're starting up, we do some work. So, what would you do at that point of time at home?
I think I would actually as a intern, I would try to learn things which I think. I mean, any if this is possible, if I'm not into, because I'm not a coding person. I'm not a techie, as I would say. So I would like to know. I would learn about what are the uh, tricks in business. I would like to. I would basically. Maybe I would be doing what you're doing actually.
Brilliant. Okay. So, any one suggestion that kids should follow, like an advice that you would like to give to all kids who are at home, at school, online, and like probably not attending it sometimes. So, what is the advice for them?
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to advise is, like, basically, never give up. If you start something, if you have an idea, you want to do something, do it. Never give up. Don't listen to people. There'll be always people who will be discouraging you. There'll be people who are encouraging you as well. But never listen to all the negatives. If you're confident, do it. That's one thing. Second is, uh, be a giver of jobs rather than getting a job. So basically, uh, you have to employ people. So work on that, because today there's a huge unemployment in India, and if every one of us can actually make a difference, it will be great for the country. I think these are the two things which I'd like to share.
Sir, on that note, what do you think? Since everyone wants to become a job giver these days, everyone is getting the awareness. So, what do you think are the skills required for this?
See, in my company, I take somebody uh, who's got good language. I'm talking about a fresher who's just finished college, who can speak good English, who can communicate well. I pay them a starting salary of 10,000 rupees a month. No, I don't ask about degree. I don't ask about what they've studied, whether they've done psychology, or they've done medicine, or if they've done the engineering, or if they've done just BSc chemistry. I don't care. So it's basically, it all depends on company to company. But I think if you have good communication skills and an, I mean, an interest to learn things, then you can, I'm sure you can easily get a job anywhere, be it tech or non-tech. I think communication skills are the most important thing which people are looking at, companies are looking at more than anything. So it's basically you have the soft skills which needs to be developed, because at the end of the day, if your soft skills are not good, you will definitely have a major issues in any job, or even for that matter in your own company. If you are the boss, if you don't have if you're not done any if you don't have good soft skills training, or if you're not able to communicate well, you would have problems at every point of time.
That's great. And along with communication skills, the aspect of sales comes in, and like how you can sell stuff and all of that. Would you like to give us an example of how you sold your first product to people? Like, obviously, we've understood that internet was the biggest barrier that you faced. A new idea, suppose now it's 2021, you had a new idea. How would you like to market it initially? What's the first step that you would do? Like, if you want to pitch a product to somebody, would you do it orally with a presentation? How would you do it? Like any advice for pitching a product?
No, I would take up if it is a concept, if it's a product, it's different. If it's a service, it's different. So what I would do is, like, I would normally what I do is I keep sharing that information to that person directly or indirectly. That a sort of a brochure, or a testimonial, or something which is about my company, about an article which came. All these I would keep sharing to that person discreetly, very on a frequent note. May say every 10 days or something, that would be it will be going to them. And so what happens is, when that sort of they remember the name. Okay, then when I talk to them about it, it's very easy to convince. I'll tell you one example. Do you have time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. See, we talked about my role in the IT business, .com Infoway. I used to also have another business called Galata, which was into cinema. It was a media company. Uh, there, our focus was to write about any movie which comes in South India, the movie reviews, uh, the latest news, trailer feedback, reviews, all that, and any music releases, we would give a ratings, all that. That was our major thing. In that, what we used to do is, we used to have a magazine as well. We used to have a print magazine called Galata Cinema, uh, very successful in South. It was like it was called like the film fair of the South. So basically, that was and what we did is, our major customers were two segments. So one is the cinema producers, and then you have the advertisers, the regular advertisers, like any jewelry or a car manufacturer, all these brands. So how do I showcase my magazine to them? So what I used to do is very simple. I We have huge posters of the latest issue of the magazine. I used to take printouts, and stick it just outside the producer's house. Wall posters. Very simple. So when he comes out of his house, the first thing he'll see is only my poster. It is very simple. No need. I don't need to go and send an email. I don't need to go meet him. Nothing. He will come to me. So the next few days I'll be doing that. That's one. Then then I've established a connect with him. Okay, Galata Cinema is a movie cinema magazine, and I've seen the poster also. It's very popular. They're putting it posters all over Chennai. So I've got that's good. So maybe he'll be thinking about it. So next I go to him with a pitch deck. I tell him, see, just imagine your cover, your movie cover, a poster on my front page of the magazine, and that's going to be visible all over Chennai in all posters. He would definitely say yes. Why not? So only placement, ideas. That's all. Nothing else. It's just ideas. So this have to be. You can. The hard selling will not work. So it all depends on business to business. So it really depends. If you have to keep experimenting. I'm not an aggressive sales person. I don't not say buy my product. We are the best. That I never do that. I always tell them, yeah, there are hundreds of people who do it. I will also do it for you. You get the quote from them. You get the quote from me. That's what I tell them. Anybody asks me for a mobile application to be developed, they'll say, yeah, I know there are a lot of people. Yes, I also know a lot of people. I'll also recommend some people to you. So I will tell him my quote is 10 lakhs. And I will also tell him, yeah, this guy gave it at 3 lakhs to you. I know that. And there'll be guys who will be giving it at 1 lakh also. And there'll be guys who are giving it 20 lakhs also. Then I'll say, but my price is 10 lakhs. I'll give you good quality. That's how I convince them. Very simple.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. Like it's something every young person should learn. Soft selling, not hard selling. Good takeaway. Yes, and yeah, that brings us and draws us to the end of this talk show about some time. We thought we'd limit it and make it very crisp and small, but I think we had so much fun that our video editing will do the magic of making it very exciting for our viewers. And yes, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you so much, Jai.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Vedika. Had a great time. So
Thank you, sir.
all the best. Keep rocking.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us so much.